Bismillah, Assalamu alaikum. As many of you know, I've been recently doing a series debunking the common delusions and dishonest claims of atheists. I recently did a video debunking the common atheist and evolutionist belief that naturalism supports their ideology. I was really busy with some personal stuff, which is why I took a break for a couple of weeks, but I'll try to upload videos more frequently now. I'm also changing up the presentation of the video, and kindly do share this with your friends because I'm trying to invest a lot of money into this channel now. Now, let's get to the topic. According to atheists and evolutionists, naturalism is correct. What this means is that everything or every effect can be explained or is caused by unguided physical processes. The evidence for this is that physical processes can explain many things in our experience, and that we see physical processes explaining things, or that science shows physical processes cause everything. This is their argument. Widely held belief of atheists and evolutionists is that the universe and life emerged without an intelligent creator, and that it is probable that the universe and life can emerge without an intelligent creator. They believe that science has proven this. Now I'll explain my argument against this claim. Firstly, there are many things that cannot be explained by physical processes. Chiefly among them, the mind and things like near-death experiences. Basically, the part of near-death experiences where someone is conscious even when they are brain dead. Other things like origin of life and numerous things related to living things cannot also be explained by physical processes, or that at least science has not shown that they are explained by physical processes. Secondly, all science can show the physical causes of things in the universe. It does not prove naturalism, it assumes it. Thirdly, even if we grant that physical processes can explain everything, it does not follow that these processes are blind or unguided, and exist or can exist without an intelligent creator causing them. The claim is that life and the universe not being designed is proven by science. The problem is that all science shows is that certain physical processes are behind certain things. This is true, but it doesn't show that these processes are blind or unguided. This is just their assumption. What these clowns are assuming is that there is a contradiction between physical processes and a creator creating and designing life and the universe. This is their assumption. Science does not and cannot tell us whether physical processes are guided or not. We never observe whether these processes were designed or not. This is not a matter of observations and hence is not science. At this point, atheists will usually give two responses. The first response, that if God was designing the world, we would see divine intervention happening and God creating things in front of our eyes. The problem with this response is that atheists and evolutionists, for that matter, are making assumptions about how God would act, our properties of God, and if God were to act, we would be able to see it like God acting, like we can see another person acting. This is their assumption. I have a question. Is this science? Is the topic of how an intelligent creator would act science? Moreover, can these clowns prove how an intelligent creator would act? No, this is just their subjective intuitions, which are not and cannot be taken as evidence. They themselves will not and cannot take intuitions as evidence. This is the reason the response of theirs is garbage according to the criteria that they themselves are using. I go into this topic in great detail in my book on the existence of God. The sample of chapter of that book is linked in the video description. The link to buy my books is in the pinned comment. Here is a review of my book which can be found at the link to buy this particular book. I am a Westerner raised by two atheists and in turn have been influenced heavily by them and internet atheism, as the author would put it. He's talking about me. I have heard every argument and for years believed a lot of them. Over time, I thankfully have met a lot of Muslims, the real chosen ones, who have encouraged me to confront my own distorted views. I found this author on YouTube and through the Quran and Bible blog, and I consider myself a fan. I found Adil's arguments compelling. In 194 short pages, he manages to pick apart every argument I've ever heard, from the problems with evil to who created God, and uses logical reasoning to break down the fallacies and contradictions of their arguments and misconceptions about Islam, and approaches the arguments with science, research, and clearly many years of hard work. I look forward to reading his other work and watching the rest of his video. So, this was just a review about my book. I wanted to highlight the point I'm making there. I also make in my book on evolution. This review is regarding the book on the existence of God. Now, let's get back to the main topic. The first atheist response was regarding how God would act, or we will see it. I've already addressed that. That was the first atheist response to my original argument. The second response is that if physical processes can explain life and the universe, then invoking an intelligent creator is bringing up extra things and violates Occam's razor. Hence, the burden of proof is on the person arguing for life and the universe being designed. I made a video where I explained why this criterion causes absolutely massive problems for atheists. Just to summarize it briefly, if God exists, there is one extra thing or entity, right? But if evolution is true, there are an innumerable amount of transitional fossils or species that we have no evidence of in the fossil record, even according to mainstream evolutionary biologists. I gave the references for this in the earlier video. So this particular justification clearly backfires on the atheists and evolutionists, because if you have God or a designer, you have one extra entity. If you have evolution and blind unguided processes, you have countless extra entities. I think it's clear how desperate and pathetic the atheist and evolutionist position is. One of the main ways that atheists try to cope with this massive problem for their beliefs is by assuming that design or intelligence is the same thing as supernatural. In fact, this was the only response the atheists could give to my argument in my previous video. Here is the problem with this claim, because if you read the comments of the video, the main thing those clowns were doing was just assuming that design and supernatural is the same thing. It's not. Humans can design things. In fact, humans can bioengineer things. We can design certain aspects of life. Like this can actually happen. We can modify them according to our own purposes. This happens. But are we supernatural? According to these morons, we are not supernatural, right? So just conflating design with supernatural does not refute the argument I'm making. You could have a material creator, you could have a natural, intelligent creator. The point I'm making is this: appealing to physical processes, which is what atheists and evolutionists do, does not and cannot support their ideology. You cannot say physical processes, that just having physical processes refute that they design. It doesn't, it cannot, even in principle. I was going to go through every single comment on the earlier video of mine on this topic, but I decided to not to, because that was a waste of time. I think I've pretty much covered everything here regarding this topic that I needed to cover. Inshallah, I'm planning to write a book on common delusions of atheists, and probably in a few months, inshallah, not right now. If you enjoyed the content of this video, please do check out the book. The books I've written, the sample chapters of all of them are in the video description. Again, the sample chapters are free to read, so like you don't have to pay to read the sample chapter, so please do that. Also, right now there's a sale on my books. All my books are selling for half price, so kindly do check them out. And if you want to support me, you can do that by either buying the books or donating to my GoFundMe page. The links are in the video description. Till next time, Assalamu alaikum.